This is John McClung Jr. I'd like to invite you to join me every Monday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, for Breaking Biblical Bread, where we take a word or passage of Scripture and encourage you, impact your life, and add value to your day. You don't want to miss it.
Welcome to another amazing Monday known as Breaking Biblical Bread. And this is John McClung, your host, also known as the chaplain. And we do this every Monday, Lord willing, at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for my people on the West Coast. And we're always sponsored by I Am a Testimony Apparel, as well as Kingdom Connection Media Group. And, we want to encourage you, uplift you, add value to you, impact your day and your life as you go along the remainder of this day, this week, this year, this month. And so, of course, man, we have gone through a month so fast. We're on the last day of March, getting ready to start. And so I want to dive in because I know that in our first 90 days, there's probably some things that you promised to do for yourself, or just a plan or a vision or dream that you had or idea. And you might not have gotten the opportunity or have gotten it to where you want, or you may not even started or might be having some problems getting started. And I want to encourage you today, especially if there's something that is on your heart to do, to actually do it. Now, as you know, I always talk about I'm reading the Bible through, and I'm getting through it. I'm in Israel right now, getting ready to finish that. But there's a story in Nehemiah that I want to share with you today, as far as some points, because I know that even for myself, there's some things that I am passionate about or have the thought of doing, and I find myself oftentimes not moving forward. And so of course, when I share something with you, it's because it's impacted me. So I want to talk about this story. And then also, I just want to blend in some things for you prayerfully that will kind of like give you a little push, or at least know that you're on the right track. So we're going to talk about this subject called a passion to build. Let me say that again, a passion to build. And we're going to be in Nehemiah between chapters 2 and 4, based on the story of him kind of being sad about something that has happened, which is the wall being, the wall being torn down or needing to be rebuilt. And even to the point we can have some things in our life that we want to build, and other people even recognize it on our face, and they may say, what's going on? How you doing? Or, are you taking care of the things that you want? Are you doing what you want to do? Are you passionate? You might get some questions asked because of the way that it's impacting you. And so as we go into this particular subject today at Breaking Biblical Bread, I just want you to keep your minds and your hearts open to kind of like to grasp this and see if it's you, like it was me, from a standpoint of having something on my heart and wanting to do it, and going through the process and the steps to get it done. So again, this is Breaking Biblical Bread, and I am going to give you 5 points here. And we're going to start in Nehemiah 2, verses 3 and 4. And it said unto the king, let the king live forever. And this is Nehemiah. Why should not my countenance be sad when the city, the place of my father's sepulchres, lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire? Then the king said unto me, for what dost thou make request? So I prayed to the God of heaven. Now, in this first passage, the king saw Nehemiah, and Nehemiah was kind of saddened, he was saddened. It showed on his face that something was not right. Have you ever had that moment just in your season that something just not right, that something's not aligned, and you might often have, again, people ask you, is everything all right? What's going on? And the king knew that something wasn't right with Nehemiah, and to the point where he had to ask him, why do you look sad? What is going on with your countenance? And so, number one, when you have this particular passion, it becomes a burden that ignites a vision. Sometimes situations or a particular thing that you want to do is so heavy on you that it actually pushes you to get started. It becomes heavy as a burden because you know you should be doing it. You know that there's something about it that you have to complete. And Nehemiah's heart was burdened for the condition of Jerusalem, leading him to seek a change. He saw something that needed to be done that he himself was passionate about, and he knew that he had to direct or be directed that way to make the change. Now, he didn't move impulsively. Think about this. He prayed before he spoke about what he wanted or what the situation was. So I pray to God of heaven to give an answer for this. And sometimes we might move into something that we know we want to do too fast without seeking the Lord. In all thy ways acknowledge him, without talking to the Lord about how do I move forward, or how can I begin to work on this particular thing that I am passionate about. And see, passion is often born out of a deep concern for something broken in our lives or community. For us to oftentimes make a change or move toward making a change, there's something that is probably hard or challenging in our life, or in a surrounding that we're in, that we see ourselves and we choose in some way to try and make a change or try and change it for the better. Nehemiah saw this situation because it was his community, and he couldn't see it looking the way that it looked. And so in his spirit was laid a vision to rebuild. And how often in our life, is there something laid in our spirit just to build, not necessarily rebuild, but just to build, just to work on it, just to bring it to life? So here's a question for you. What burden has God placed on your heart? Because see, if you haven't prayed about it, it becomes a reckless decision. So if there is something passionate laid on your heart, seek God before you move forward. Let me say that again. If there's something passionate that has been laid on your heart to do, seek God before stepping forward or moving forward. Ask for his direction when you get that vision. Number one, a burden that ignites a vision. Number two, verse 8 of Nehemiah 2. And the king granted me according to the good hand of my God upon me. Now, when you seek God's favor, or when you seek God for an answer, favor will come upon your life. So number two, divine favor and provision will be provided when you seek God in reference to the vision that you have, the dream, the passion, the ministry. Divine favor and provision will come upon you and be provided for you. Nehemiah found favor with the king once he made his request, who provided to the good hand of God upon him. He gave him all that he needed or requested. And sometimes there will be somebody or some people in our life that will provide the necessary resources for our vision, for our idea, for our passion, for our ministry, for our dream. After you seek God and he gives you the direction. Now, here's a key point. When your vision aligns with God, especially God's will and purpose, he will open the doors that no man can shut. Now, I know there are some individuals who will hear this who will clearly understand what I'm talking about. When you begin to do what God has designed for you to do, some things will happen in your life and you will be wondering, how in heaven's name did this come about? Or how did this happen? How did I get this? How was this move? It's because it aligns with God's will and purpose for your life. And he provides the favor for you and the provision for you, for your vision as you begin to build. And provision may not come from where you expect it, but it will come. Oftentimes we're impatient and we go and try and grab and do these things, and somehow it don't work out when it's not aligned with what God has for you. But if we're patient and understand that the Lord will bring the things in line for this particular build that we're going to be doing, or assignment, whatever it might be, then the provision will sometime often come from people or places that you least expected. But you can best believe if it's aligned, it will come. So number 2, divine favor and provision. And just as a thought, we don't have to manipulate or try and force things. If we trust God's timing and provision for what he has designed us to do, or aligned and given us the passion and purpose to do, it will work in your favor if you're patient and long suffering, because it's not going to come quick. It's not going to be easy. But with your patience, it will work. It will come. You will be able to build on whatever that particular idea, passion, purpose that you have, if you wait on the Lord. All right. So number 2, divine favor and provision. Number 3, verse 19 and 20. But when Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arabian heard it, they laughed us to scorn and despised us, and said, what is this thing that ye do? Will ye rebel against the king? Then answered I them, this is Nehemiah, and said unto them, the God of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore, we his servant will arise and build. But ye have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem. Now, this is the middle of my points, because I want you to understand and get this. When you've been given a passion, a purpose, a dream, a vision, number 3, opposition will always come. Now, these individuals, immediately when they found out that Nehemiah was going to rebuild the wall, came up against him and trying to get him to stop, trying to hate on him. And listen, if you have lived on earth long enough and had something that you want to do, you understand, or you should. And if you haven't, you will. If you're following what God has given you as a passion and purpose, it's going to be some haters in the game. And that will let you know that you are actually in line with what God has done for you. Because if there's if you've never come up against opposition as far as fulfilling that particular passion, then you might be going down the wrong path. Not everyone will support your vision. Some will mock you, doubt you, or try and stop you. And you can expect that. Because if God gives you an idea or allows you to work on an assignment that he's given you, you can best believe that there's going to be some situations where it's not going to be favorable. But you got to keep on going. See, Nehemiah refused to let opposition stop him from what he saw as a vision from God. And mind you, he prayed to make sure. He also let everybody know that God would prosper them. Everybody that was involved in building, because you're going to have some other people come into your life that will be assigned to you when you begin to move into this passion or this purpose and this ministry and this vision and dream that will help you build. Understand this particular point. When God calls you to build, expect resistance, but stay focused. Because I know, man, if you're anything like me, and you know that you're supposed to complete and work through and develop and all of these things, a particular God idea or assignment of purpose, the enemy will bring people, he will bring things, situations in your path that will try to knock you off track or make you lose focus or distract you from working on that particular assignment. And just like Nehemiah, he had people watching that did not want him to succeed. Even to the point where they wanted to try to put in his head that he was not doing things in the right order by telling him, are you going against the king? Not knowing that the king gave him favor to do it. So are you hearing those whispers, or are you getting like notes or, words of, that are not encouraging you, or not even giving you the opportunity to hear some positive feedback moving forward in something that you're passionate about? Because you keep getting this opposition and you're thinking, man, am I really supposed to be doing this? Yes. Because when you begin to get all of these things that are trying to slow you down or move you in a different direction based on something God has placed on your heart, you should know opposition will always come. And that opposition is giving you a reminder that you are on the right track. Don't let fear of critics stop you from moving forward. Fear of anyone from stopping you to move forward. Especially at this point, keep your eyes on God's purpose, not people's opinions. Let me say that again. Keep your eyes on God's purpose, not people's opinions. And you will continue to move forward on the assignment, on the idea, on the passion, or the purpose that's placed in your heart. So 3, understand that when you build, opposition will always come. 4, verse 6, chapter 4. So built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof. For the people had a mind to work. Everybody that was part of this assignment was on one accord. They knew the assignment was to build the wall. They knew they had to work together to make it happen. So 4, you have to work with a mind to build. Whatever your passion and assignment is, your mind has to be focused on building that passion. Doesn't make a difference what's going on, what's being said, what's being done. You, because it's your assignment, it's your task, it's the vision given to you, and you have to have the mind to build it. And a lot of times, you also, if there are others involved, need to make sure that their mind is on one accord with you. Why? Because the key to progress in this particular story was unity. Everybody understood we're building the wall. The people had a shared vision and we're committed to do the work. Even if it's you by yourself, be committed to do the work and build, no matter how difficult. Because see, distractions, discouragement, and fear cannot stop a determined heart to build. Let me say that again. Distractions, discouragement, and fear cannot stop a determined heart when it's time to build, especially when you understand it's a God assignment. However, building takes effort, it takes discipline, and it takes perseverance. There's some things we still have to have inside of you to make it happen. Now, oftentimes, because you come up against some things, you wonder if you have that in you. You wonder if you're capable of fulfilling what you've been given as an assignment, or your passion to do a particular thing. Do I have the ability to for the effort to do it, and the discipline and the perseverance? Sometimes it doesn't come automatically. Sometimes you have to learn it and build it on the fly. You got to have some OJT, on the job training. But if you have the mind to build, you can make it happen. So I got a question for you. What are you building in your life? Whatever that passion, that purpose is, that assignment, that task, that God idea, are you committed to it? Or are you letting distractions and negativity slow you down? Sometimes we often have something so heavy on us that we want to do that we don't often move. It still feel like we're stuck in the mud, and we might get disappointed. We may get discouraged. It may get difficult. But those are the distractions. That is some of the fear that can slow you down. And you need to position yourself mentally to overcome it. So remember, number 4, work with the mind to build. Number 5, Nehemiah 4:17. They which build it on the wall, and they that bear burdens, with those that laid it, everyone with one of his hands wrought on the work, and with the other hand held a weapon. Now they had to fight some people off, or be prepared to. And I know for us, there's some people we got to fight off or be prepared to fight off in reference to what we're trying to build, because they keep coming at us, keep trying to stop us and move us and discourage us. So number 5, you got to be fighting while you're building. You got to be prepared to fight for what it is that you want to accomplish, what the Lord has placed on you, what the passion is. You're going to fight. Now, physically, we're not going to have swords in our hands. These men had swords in their hands. They were ready to go to battle. We're going to have the confidence and the courage in our hand to keep on going, to fight through all the things that are happening to us while we're trying to build. See, this is interesting because they had to fight. Nehemiah's team built with one hand and held a weapon in the other hand. They were, think about that. They were building a wall with one hand, each person. They were working with one hand and they had a weapon in the other. They worked and defended at the same time. So whatever your defense is going to be for that passion, dream, vision, ministry, whatever it is, be solid in that defense. Know what you're going to say. Know what you're going to do. Know how to divert. Know how to have conflict resolution, whatever it might be. But fight for your passion, your vision, your assignment, your task at all costs. Now, we don't need to throw punches or nothing, but we need to throw verbal punches. We need people to know who assigned you to build, and that you're going to do whatever it takes to get it done. See, Nehemiah, they had spiritual battles, Let me say it this way. Spiritual battles will come when you're building something for God. Let me say that one more time. Spiritual battles will come when you're building for God. When he places it in you, you can best believe you're going to have some fighting going on. So be ready to fight in prayer, in faith, in perseverance, in meditation and fasting. You're going to need your weapons. Even though no weapon formed against you shall prosper, you still got to do some fighting. See, the enemy wants to stop you and your progress. But you and I must work with spiritual wisdom and spiritual discernment. We need to know who is our enemy and what is our enemy. We need to know how to fight that battle. We need to know how to protect that vision and dream and passion and ministry and purpose at all costs. Because the enemy will come at you heavily with every weapon that he can find. And you need to have one hand on your on your assignment and another hand on your weapon, which is the word of God, which is prayer, which is fasting, faith, and belief. You should have weapons, just like the enemy does, when it comes to protecting what God has given you. See, in life, we must work and pray. See, prayer is going to be your other weapon, right? We know we got to move forward and stand guard over what has been given to us. Don't give the enemy an open door to stop what God has called for you to build, or stop what God is building in you. Because see, as we're doing the assignment, we're getting built up as well. We're getting stronger. We're learning some things about ourselves. We're developing. Don't let the enemy stop any of that from happening, because that's a part of you building whatever God has given you. He's going to build you, and he's going to build it. And that's something that we should be concerned from a standpoint of knowing that the enemy doesn't want either one of those to happen. So for us, we got to be ready to fight. We got to fight while we're building both the assignment and ourselves. Number 5. Number 6, verse 14 of chapter 4. And I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not ye afraid of them. Remember the Lord, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your houses. Understand, listen to this. When you are building this assignment that's been given to you, you're not building it for yourself. Nehemiah wasn't building the wall for himself. He was building it for the people to be protected, to have a place of security and safety, to be reminded of how beautiful this particular wall was for Jerusalem and Jerusalem itself, a place where people can have their homes and live in somewhat peace, but know that to see it happen was a big deal. See, when you build, number 5, or number 6, should I say, you're building to encourage not only yourself, but also others. So you're encouraging yourself and others as you build. Fear can creep in when challenges arise. They, again, had opposition in making this happen. But Nehemiah, and I'm going to say you as well, put your name in there, need to remind not only yourself, but the people you serve to trust in God, because he will see it through. You initially need to trust God. Then those who are involved, you need to make sure that they understand to trust in him as well. See, when opposition comes, and it will, We must strengthen not only ourselves, but we need to encourage those around us. Because sometimes we might have individuals who may not have built to this level, and you need to build them up to that level of building. Give leadership and wisdom and knowledge. It may not be a wall that you're building. It might be a business that you're building. It might be a particular project. It might be other people that you're supposed to be building. And you need to strengthen not only yourself, but those you are working with to remind them that God will make a way. Building is not just about us. It impacts future generations. This wall wasn't just about the initial people. It was about those who were coming, the kids, the wives, the future husbands, future kings and queens and princesses, whatever they may have been, but it was a future thing. And when you're building something, it is not necessarily for now, it's for the future. It's for your family, for your children and your children's children. And those who are working with you, it's for their families and their children and children's children. Those are things that we must understand that we will impact when we build. So the question is, who are you fighting for? Or maybe what are you fighting for? Are you fighting for your legacy? Are you fighting for your family? Are you fighting for your community? Because if you are, don't quit. Keep building. And say again, don't quit. Keep building. And lastly, chapter 6, I snuck one in, verse 15 and 16. So the wall was finished in the 20th and 5th day of the month, Elul. They finished the wall in 52 days. 52 days with the focus, which says when you focus and depend on God, you can complete it faster than you think. And it came to pass that when all our enemies heard thereof, and all the heathen that were about us saw these things, they were much cast down in their own eyes, for they perceived that this work was wrought of our God. Number 7. Completion in any project, any idea, any passion or purpose comes through perseverance. It's going to take some time to build, and you need to persevere to make it happen. Don't give up in day 1 or month 1 or maybe even year 1, let alone week 1, on what is considered the passion and purpose for you. Now, I know if you're like me, you might have something you've been working on for some time, and it may not be completely where you want it, but you've seen progress. Other than completing, that's all you can ask for is progress. Continually keep going despite all that's going on. So despite all the opposition, distractions, and challenges, the wall was completed in just 52 days. Now, if you know anything, or like I got a chance to go to the Holy Land and see the wall. It wasn't just like a backyard wall with small bricks. This thing was massive. And to understand that this was done in our time, 4 months, basically, a little over 4 months. Well, let me take that back. A month and a half, basically. It's some houses today that are small that don't get done in a month and a half. There's some projects and construction projects we see on a day-to-day basis in our time that take months and weeks and years to do, let alone a bunch of days included in that. But they built the wall in 52 days. Even the enemy, after this happened, had to acknowledge that it was God's work. Whatever you're assigned to, if it happens fast, it ain't you. And people who are watching you will understand that there is no way they were capable of doing that unless God was involved. Now, it may not be 52 days. It might be 52 weeks. It might be a year. But it happened. It's come to life. And if that happens, understand your perseverance or persistence will pay off. And those who doubt it will have no choice but to recognize God's hand is on your life. So don't be discouraged if it doesn't happen right away, or that you don't figure it out right away, but you know that it's something that you are passionate about doing. And you've prayed about it, and you've gotten direction, and know that this is something that the Lord has aligned and designed for you to do. Then begin to build. And recognize that God's hand is on your life in building. So I want to encourage you, if you've been given that God idea, that passion, that vision, that purpose, and it's in his will, don't give up. Get started. Build. God finishes what he starts. If he gives it to you, you can best believe it's going to get done. Despite all the things that we might not believe and have faith and take our time, be in slow motion in doing, he will complete the work through you and I. Keep pushing forward until you see the manifestation of your vision. Keep pushing forward until you see the manifestation of your vision. If it is aligned with God's will and purpose for your life, keep going, keep going, keep going, and build until you see it come to life. And I want to leave you with this. As you keep building, stay focused. Keep your eyes on the goal. Stay prayerful. Seek God's guidance in every step of the way. Stay prepared. Work with one hand and fight with the other. Keep fighting for your vision. Keep fighting for your passion. Be prepared. Keep a weapon with you. Prayer, faith, belief, trust, and stay committed. No matter the opposition, see it through to completion. And I ask this question, because in his prayer at the end, he said, the God of heaven, actually in the beginning of this, should I say, the God of heaven will prosper us. Therefore, we, his servants, will arise and build. That's verse 20 in chapter 2. The God of heaven will prosper you and I. Therefore, we, his servants, need to arise and build. This is Breaking Biblical Bread. I'm your host, John McClung Jr., also known as the Chaplain. We do this every Monday, Lord willing, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for my people on the West Coast. And what has God called you to build? Will you allow oppositions to stop you, or will you stand strong and complete your assignment? Keep building, keep believing, and trust that God will bring it to pass. I know that there are many of you who have a passion for completing an assignment that is placed on your life. And I want to encourage you, because again, we are now 1/3 of the way, or 3 months out into this season or this year. And there are some things we have not fulfilled or completed. And there are some challenges, I'm sure, that we've come up against that has tried to stop us, or maybe even stopped us. But I want to give you a kickstart. I want to give you an encouraging word. I want to uplift you. I want to admonish you to keep building. Don't take your eyes off of what was given to you. Don't worry about the distractions. Stay focused. Don't worry about the hearsay and the discouragements. Do not let your heart be troubled, because he that believeth in God can make it happen. I look forward to talking to you, Lord willing, next Monday, Breaking Biblical Bread. And I pray that as you absorb this message today, A Passion to Build, that whatever's happening in your life, whatever you're dealing with, despite the opposition, and maybe it's even the greatest opposition being yourself, being in the way. I know I've had to deal with that. Sometimes we will doubt ourselves, no matter the skills, the talents, abilities, the gifts, and experiences that the Lord places in us. And we may not do it at the highest level that we can. Understand that all you have to do is believe and have faith. Make sure you align yourself with a conversation with God, making sure you're going in the direction you're supposed to. Proverbs 3:6, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And you can best believe that the Lord in every way will help you build. Take care until the next time of Breaking Biblical Bread.
This is John McClung Jr. I'd like to invite you to join me every Monday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, for Breaking Biblical Bread, where we take a word or passage of scripture and encourage you, impact your life, and add value to your day. You don't want to miss it.